Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the podcast Parenting Diaries. Today, we have with us Mrs. Jyoti Batra. She is a very good, seasoned corporate professional for last 30 plus years. And right now, she's a senior director in a prestigious IT company. But that's not the reason she's here. She is beautifully brought up three children, along with her career in a joint family setting, and making sure the children are successful in academics, career, as well as great family values. Her son has finished engineering and today is working in a multinational company. Her daughter, who is also an engineer and right now doing masters in Paris. And the youngest one, her daughter is finished engineering and she is right now a practicing model. Let's hear from Jyoti. How did she help her children in selecting their career paths and also in creating great family values? So let's welcome Jyoti Batra on the stage. All right, so I welcome Jyoti Batra on the stage where we are going to hear her insightful story and figure out how it can inspire many more parents out there. Welcome, Jyoti, to our platform.
Yeah, hi. Thanks very much, Tressa.
All right. So today the first thing which I wanted to know from you, Jyoti, is what is that special quality or talent in your child that you as a parent are very proud to call about?
Not an easy question to see which is the quality, yeah, because the children are so dear to you. But I think one quality which I'm really proud or which I'm really happy that they have inculcated is, having a value of the family. Yeah. So loving their family, having family first, and the strong bond that they share with, everyone around. So I think that's the value, that's the quality which I'm really proud about my children.
That's great. That's great. And that's a rare quality which every child has in today's world where most of the working mothers, they feel guilty. And they actually pamper the children with a lot of luxurious things. Sometimes they get disjointed from their family values. So hats off to you. And I truly believe that every child does not come with this value automatically when they are born. It has to be nurtured through parenting. So can you share what are the ways or what are the things you did so that this value is nurtured in your children?
See, when the children step into your life and you're working, there's nothing that you do like a said thing that, okay, I'll follow this. But I think since we lived in a joint family, the children had their parents, their grandparents, their extended families around them. In thick or thin, they saw, how everyone was coming together, how we were trying to manage to bring them up amidst all the hustle and bustle of the work. We were like peak of our career, not peak, the start of the career. I had my first child very early. We were very young parents, very, very young parents, considering to the Gen Z or Gen X, whatever generation is now. So it was not easy, right, to think about how you're going to bring, and the work had just started. But having everyone around, participating with the family, by the grandparents, and handing them over. There's a trust and a confidence also that yes, if I leave them back, they'll be taken care of. Of course, I had built up a support system. We did have helps at hand, which I tried to get it, but that never superseded, what I need to do, what my husband had to do, where my parents-in-law would step in and the other members. So I think that combined atmosphere or the combined way which they were brought up, that probably helped them inculcate that they have the sense of security. I think they got with having everyone around, helped them inculcate that quality.
And I'm sure you will be making them very much attend all these family affairs and having fun with them, and they would have experienced that probably, right? Which gives that particular happiness. And I can see that in some of the photographs which I see on your Facebook, the way the children enjoy all the family events, they make it a point to travel all the way and come and join that. That's fantastic. Great, Jyoti. The other question which I would like to ask is there a particular parenting philosophy or approach which you and Anil, both of you as parents, you have done while you evolved your child as they grow?
I think one important thing is if you have to get the trust and the love, you will also have to give them that trust and love. Yeah. So to trust in whatever actions that they might want to do, whatever decisions that they're, so giving them that bandwidth to take a decision, but they also know that they have a back, right?
Wow.
Success is very important to celebrate, right? But it is very important to make a child know that even if a person or the child is taking a decision, and if he or she fails, right, but there's someone who is there. They don't have to, they can always go for help. They can always go and say that, yes, I can discuss this, or I can have them, come to rescue. Or sometimes even if they want to just do it themselves, right, they can still come back and tell us the story and say, oh mama, did I do that right? If it's okay, if I did that. So I think both of us try to give them that space, but saying that, we kept our eyes and ears also open, right? And we know that there are certain boundaries and those things, and not by a stick, right? You can't do this, but laying that out, right? This is what seems right, and why we are saying though these kind of things is because we as a parent has an apprehension. For example, when a teenager suddenly steps in and there's a peer pressure of going to those parties, and when they have to just start those drink parties, right? That's an immense pressure, okay, as a parent. When I remember my son coming at class 11, they have that drink party and where everyone goes X and Y and Z. I said, no, that's not an age. No, but as 11th, we have to give a farewell and there's a tradition and we have to go. I said, all right. But then Papa will go and sit downstairs. You go and have a party upstairs, but Papa will sit downstairs.
Oh, so cute.
So you go and have a party, but we don't want that something happens, right? And why? Because we are cautious, right? If there's some other activities happening at a public place, right? Then who's going to take care? So that was okay, right? And again, my husband made sure that the first drink, whether it's my son, my daughters, the first drink is with him, with us, together. Yeah. So it's not a taboo, although our families, our traditional families, our parents, my parents, of course, they have never seen all those things. But they too stepped in, okay, if they want to do it and we are there behind them. So they had the confidence, okay, they go and partying, but there's someone sitting. And at that time, right, there are times that you have to sit, there are times that you have to let go. So that is the time we sat. All right. Yeah. So I think that's
good. Very lovely gesture. I like that party thing which you shared. Very unique incident I've heard. But yeah, definitely. So you have actually given a very safe space for children where they know they can explore things, but they know there's something which goes back. They have somebody here to hold them and not fall. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful confidence you can give. Great. Yeah. Is there any particular habits or routines, Jyoti, that you instilled in your child from a young age, and you believe that has now contributed to their success?
Yeah, I think habits is one is of course taking decisions. So that brings about independence. Yeah. So being able to independently handle situations, there are conflict management. Because I remember when, of course, my first child was very early, and then I have my niece again, who's brought up as my daughter. So I have actually 3 children. My son, my niece, who's my bond between my 2 children, and my daughter, the youngest one. So there's an 8-year difference between my son and the little one, which came and stepped into our life and got all the energy still going. So I was again, at that time, I was at peak of my career. I also had to travel. Travel means I had to stay for months, not here, in UK, for the assignment, which I desperately wanted to do, right? I really, really wanted to go. But then I handed over responsibilities to my son, right? You come from school, this is what you need to do, X, Y, Z. The help is there, but you make sure the bottles get boiled. Or, if Nani is coming and taking her to some place, you make sure these are packed in the bag. Or if, Dadi has to do this, but you stand by and see. So he was like good 9.5 years old. And the other one, my niece, she also, right, okay, to stand by bhai and see, okay, X, Y, Z, and written on a paper, tick mark, checklist. So you see, they're sharing a responsibility. And mama has to go, right? My little one really cried, and then she became silent also that mama has gone, and because she never realized what's happening. But from the beginning, right? Giving a security, being a confidence, being independent, as the same way you're juggling between your various stuff brings a lot of confidence. So I think that's what it kept on happening different phases of life, because when you are working, you have to have your children by your side. You need to share that this is my ups, this is my down, this is where I need to go. But yeah, I'm available for you. I'm still available for you. I made sure that I never had any tutors till class 10. So I
Oh,
taught them. I made them sure homework is done. So
yeah.
I think that got them also an independence, a confidence to handle situations. And I see that now when they are grown ups. Yeah.
You can see that. You can see that reflecting. That's true. Very, very true. And I like that idea where you're giving the checklist and making sure, because when they are doing that, in some way they can feel your presence also, though you're not there. I used to also do when I was traveling for my US trips and Japan trips, and what I used to do is I had 3 children, so I put post-its for them here and there, somewhere in their cupboard, sometimes on the fridge, somewhere in the shoe rack, so that when they remove certain things, oh, a sweet note from mama. I love you and I'm missing you. Oh, you're the sweetest girl. You're my
Oh my
angel.
God, that's
Oh,
very
and
nice.
it'll be like getting up in the morning and searching all the places where mama could have hit the post-its. And I think even if we are far, we can keep ourselves connected with them through the small actions. You don't need to always, be there physically. There is a way you can connect. And there's a beautiful gesture you did that. Uh, Jyoti, while we are talking through all this incident, is there any funny incident which you remember about your children and you would like to share on this platform?
Yeah, a lot of funny things. But yeah, I'll try to share again of my daughter, because she's the youngest one, right? So I can take the liberty of taking her interesting thing. So yeah, this is when she was in pre-nursery, right? Three and a half years old, and she was a tall girl, a tall baby from the very beginning. And so from the very beginning, the teachers, tried to encourage her to take part. And so 3.5 years old, and then this is the annual sports day. All the parents, she was in the race, yeah, the normal race that you run, and
Okay.
everyone was like, oh my, and amongst the girls also, she was the tallest. So it was the girls and boy mixed, it was a
Okay.
race. And she's standing there, and everyone's saying, oh, does she look an overage, a tall girl? But no, I was standing there amongst, no, my daughter is 3.5 only, but yeah, she's very tall. So they all said, oh, she's going to come first, a very, very tall girl. And the race started, and everyone ran, and she's standing and waving us, smiling, mama, papa, bhaiya, right? And she's just waving, and we're saying, run. And everyone ran, finished the race, and she's walking, looking at us. And the teachers were, I think I should appreciate the teachers also at the time. They say, no, we have one star performer left, and a person has, and we also cheering up and clapping. And when we clapped, all the parents, first they were saying, oh,
Okay.
the girl is left. And we started clapping, and all with all our force,
My
both
God.
me, my husband, my son, my niece, like, come on. And then she started to run. She finished it, right? And we went there, hugged her, and when the prizes were given, then I told the teacher, can we also give her one prize?
Oh, so sweet. Yeah, these small things matter a lot to children. They remember it lifelong, Jyoti.
Yeah,
Good,
so
good.
imagine. So it was so funny, and everyone was looking at us, and we were shouting. In very similar way, she was again in one swimming thing. As she grew up, her habits on the sports remained the same, right? And it was a swimming class, and there was a swimming event after the swimming coaching. It was not school, but it was in a club. Again, in the pool, to swim. She knew very well. But again, she said, I don't want to swim as much. And everyone, child is swimming. Come on. Again, we had to make that shout, that winning shout. Yes, you can do it. We'll get you this. Come on. And from the last, that time she came second. And everyone, our club president, and they hugged her. Oh my God, she's
Okay.
that
That's great.
encouragement by not saying that you cannot do it. Oh, we are not proud of the children have done this, and you are here standing, sitting. So I think that nudge, it brings so much cheer whenever I remember this, and we talk to her about this. So she is also very happy recollecting. Oh, did I do that? Oh, did I do that? And we have a little snippet also, a photograph also of her of that race. Yeah. So,
That's great. That's great. And I think small things like this, though they are funny, but they have a long lasting impact on children, the way we handle it and deal it. I mean, probably when she did not run, there are some parents who could have reacted in different way. Say, "Oh my God, the race is over. What are you standing there for? You didn't go.
Yeah.
Run. You don't even know when it's whistle. You have to run." Just imagine what blunder we would have done to that child's.
Yeah.
Whole life the child would have been scared of taking any bold steps or making any decisions for their life. But here, because you did that, she turned out to be a bubbly and confident girl, and every aspect of life she'll take it that way. Boldly. Chal chalta hai yaar, it's okay.
And believe me, she still is a very tall girl of 5 feet 10 inches, but she still doesn't like sports.
That's just not there.
It's just not there. But we would all have fun the entire schooling, having her encouraged. She played basketball, she played baseball, she went to Australia. The coach made her run the lawn, and she said, "Okay, make me stand near the basket so I can put in the basket." And so I just put the basket. All right, that's fun,
That's fun. And thank you so much for sharing that. That's great. To go from a little serious topic, how did you manage, if you can share, the discipline and boundaries for the children? I mean, I'm sure there are some strategies which you think would have worked best to have positive behavior in your children. So can you share some of those, Jyoti?
Yeah, I think my children do talk about it a lot. So between me and my husband, both of us, so there's a one good cop and there's a bad cop, right? So mama is a little bad cop, and papa to never had any boundaries, let them do whatever they want, and both of us, amongst both of us also as husband and wife, so we had a pact, right? When they are till school, it's my R&Rs, right? Roles and responsibilities. And if I am doing anything, he will not just step in, right? And if he is doing the fun part and this part, so I just stay right a little behind, so that both of us are also not contradicting each other in front of the children, right? So that's also very, very important. Okay. And so in terms of discipline, in terms of do's and don'ts, like sleeping on time, doing their homework on time, and I also sensitize them. See, mama has these many hours, right? When I leave, we used to make sure that we drop them to school. We remember chasing the buses, but in the morning we made sure that X, Y, Z thing you have to do it on your own, right? You have to get up, do this, otherwise you will be left behind. And if a call comes from school, that come and give this thing, or if I would actually not do that after second or third call. I said, okay, if you have to get a punishment, you have to get a punishment, right? You need to remember that. So they knew all those integrities. If I have to come back by 6, they can have all their fun till 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening. But after 7, it is a time that starts, and you to sit together and do homework or do whatever stuff we have. Similarly, if they need something for the school, they knew if I'm coming back, driving back from office, they have to tell me what all is required. If once I reach home, I just can't step out. So if they miss telling me, it's fine. It's they have to do all that stuff on their own. So little things, right? Sensitizing that, right? We also need that space, or we are also getting worked up. We also have those stress and pressure. So I think they got into a discipline. In fact, I remember an incident when my son, in the school, the teacher asked that tomorrow you have to bring this chart or this. She says, no. Mama said to get things only on Saturday and Sunday. Apart from this, if I have to do this project work, my mama doesn't have time. So I cannot do it. He just told the teacher. And the teacher called me at night that I asked him to get this. I said, yeah, you also have to make sure, right, to take care of the working parents. How can they do it on the weekday?
Yes.
So he just said, my mama will not do it. So please, if you want to write in my diary, you can. But tomorrow I will not be prepared for that. Because she has said that. So you see, right? The children know, and they also pass on the message to the teacher.
That's wonderful.
Just realize that she's a working mother. Okay, so I think everyone will give you that credibility, and your children will stand by you and will say, right, this is how it needs to be done. Okay. So I think, I don't know whether I have replied to your question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a very beautifully you have done it. This is definitely going to teach other working mothers also that you don't have to be guilty. If you can't do things, it's fine. Just say no. And I think sensitizing children is a very, very important point which you mentioned, Jyoti. Because many of the mothers, they feel that, oh, I'm doing something wrong by not giving time to children. But I think children are very smart. If you tell them exactly what is the reason your mom is working or why we want to work outside and what is the pros and cons, then children get settled. They are like completely okay. Like I used to talk to my youngest daughter. She was hardly, I think, 4.5, 5 years old. And I started feeling at that point, probably I'm not giving too much time because I was getting a little time at home and I used to give more time to the elder ones because their studies were there, homeworks were there. So for the little one, I used to make her sit near me, but not much time to sit and talk and play with her and all. She used to play more with the elder sisters. And one day I just asked this 4.5 year girl, you know what, Anaida, I somehow feel I'm not giving enough time to you. But do you want mama to just give up everything and sit with you whole day and play? And she just thought for a while and said, no, mama, I don't think I would want you to idle away here and there. When I see you working and taking conference calls, I feel proud and I want to become like that. So you continue. But give me little time every day, 15 minutes to play with me. That's enough. And when I heard that, I said, wow, the children are smart. We assume that they cannot understand. Who said they can't? So I think sensitizing them is the best way to get out of this and balance life better.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay. Another thing which I want to ask is how did you encourage your children's passions or talents, even when they differ from the conventional career paths or expectations? And I know you have a classical case. I wanted to hear that story.
Oh yeah, that's again my the younger one. Of course, I had an instance with my son also at one time, and my niece and daughter also, but they were like more kind of a person who heard what we said very easily. And then now both of them are successful engineers. But my little one, the younger one, of course, she's also an engineer now. But a flourishing model too. So she had that passion of doing modeling and becoming an actress, from I think very young itself she had a passion. But we always used to hear her, always hearing out, okay, you want to do this, but first do your all the other stuff, and then when the time comes nearer, we will think about it. And then the time started coming, once she was reaching class 10 and taking a choice of the subjects. So we had a little discussion again. So I, as a family, we all of us sat together and we said, okay, first the school education has to be done, because most importantly, as a girl, as a woman, we want to see you independent, financially independent, as a career independent. So first things first, let's pass this milestone. So fine, she took science. She was an academically good person. So 11th and 12th, she sensibly took, what she was good at, again, identified, and then moved forward. And then it was a time again after class 12 to take a course. And she said, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. So again, that discussion, it was a very difficult conversation. Again, we all sat down to have, because what we did was always, have a discussion, pluses, minus. And interestingly, we used an IT DAR for all our decisions. So it is, DAR is very famous in our household. Decision analysis matrix comes up where there is a conflict. My husband literally puts that on the screen. So post class 12, now his role comes in. Okay, so class 12, mama has done her job. 12th, nicely done, good marks or whatever taken. Now for all a DAR screen comes up. Okay, so now with the DAR screen, all the choices of the career and everything is discussed, pluses, minuses, why, and then all of us have to vote, right? Independent voting to come at a score to take a decision, and then again, well, so that was again we did with her, and they came out that education is important. And again, we tried to explore and discuss with, although it was very new for us, this kind of a profession, we no one in the family, we tried speaking to and try to find out more people who are in that particular area, right? I had one of my school friends pinging me, right? We have seen her and this, and I was talking about, okay, you can talk to that person, right? You can talk to that person. So we did all that research with her, taking her to a modeling agency, taking her to another place. We took her literally getting the feedback so that she could also make up her mind, and even we, right? We also cannot have thoughts that this is right or wrong. Although very frankly, we all thought it is wrong. I can say it is very difficult as a parent when you hear all the
Exactly.
stories. Yeah, it was not easy. If I say, ki, okay, it is very easy. No, it was not at all easy. When we heard all that, noted all this thing down, weighed the pros and cons. And one thing that came out is that your educational qualification and a professional qualification is very important in case something doesn't work out. But because if
Yeah.
you're doing something as a passion, it's very high risk. There's something to fall back upon. So we all in a discussion had a situation where she could take a call, right? It has to be a call that is from your heart, right? Otherwise, you will not put everything into it. So it's a call that was taken, and we promised her also that once she does this, we will also stand by and support
Okay.
her. So a tough journey. She finished her engineering with really, really high performance. But then again, when the company started coming and we said, no, don't take any job. You pursue your passion. She gives some time. Yeah. And although we were wanting her that she could do her MBA, we kept on pushing her, pulling her little by little. And then she said, no, Mama, Papa, it's becoming very difficult. I really, really need to focus. So we decided to give her some time. So I think, so that's where, right, hearing out and ourselves finding out stuff, right? Sometimes we don't know things, so we have to educate ourselves.
True.
Our education is also important, and then standing by them. Yeah.
Very good. That's beautiful. And I think hats off to you both. Because I truly connect with, like, when if there's a conventional way of we doing in our families, how difficult it is to go in out of path like this, a career, and how the surrounding, the society and family, how they react. So it's not easy, but I'm sure you must be handling it so well, supporting her by being at her side of such a tough decision which has been taken. And I really wish all the best for your youngest daughter, that she does well. And it's a very good inspiration to all the parents here also, when the children come out of the way any question, because now there are new age careers coming out so much that parents are not aware of their benefits and pros and cons. So they actually doubt and they simply say, no, you're not going there. You just do this. I know this. But it's time for us also to have an open mind, to explore and see whether that is a good career for a child. And if truly that means a passion for them, give them that freedom and space. But in your case, I think it's a beautiful thing because there was a balance. Your daughter also took a win-win case and said, I'll do engineering. Okay, Mama, your demand met. Now help me to meet my demand. So I think it's a very good mutual understanding, which is also nice. So that's wonderfully done.
Both the elder ones, right? They also stood by her, and then they tell us, my daughter niece, she wanted to do journalism, and I pushed her into engineering, right? My son at one time wanted to be a videographer, and I said, no, pros, cons, this, you do this. So now both of them.
हमारे टाइम पे dartboard का था.
Kind of a situation, and a dart comes out every time.
I like that concept, by the way, of the dartboard. I think I should inculcate this into my family. That's a wonderful way. Democratic one. All right. Okay. So now moving on to the last question, which I really want your advice is, Jyoti, there are many millennial parents nowadays who are having a tough tussle with their Gen Z and Alpha generation kids. So what is the piece of advice which you would like to give it to them?
I think piece of advice is just stay calm. Don't become like overworked up parents. How will we do this? How will we do this? Go with the flow. Every child is unique, I think. Even as a parent, like if you have 2 children, 3 children, none of them are same. So understand them, be with them, enjoy with them, And if you enjoy the moments that they give you and share with them, right? Do not think that they are too young, I cannot tell you this, or they are too old, will not understand this. You have to maintain a balance, and do not be overwhelming with the stuff also, right? If you have to give a mobile phone, I remember giving a mobile phone, but then telling my son at that time, I'll do a recharge of only $200. Yeah? So that time, giving a mobile phone was a big thing, right? And now every child has. So whatever you give them a responsibility. You take a responsibility. Keep an eye. from the back, and just enjoy the time. Give that love, trust, and you automatically get that love and trust from them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I would like to pick up two things which you shared, which touched my heart. One is go with the flow, and second is enjoy the journey. Because go with the flow is a very important, though it's a very lighter statement. I think many parents, they have a lot of expectations from their children that ये करना है, जब वो 8 साल का होगा तो ये करेगा, 10 साल में हम ये करेंगे.
No.
And when we have expectations and when they don't are met, no, you feel disappointed. And when you feel disappointed, it affects your parenting journey. But if you go with the flow, take each day as it comes, because your child will give you new adventures every day. Be ready.
Yeah.
And just explore and enjoy it. It's a beautiful roller coaster ride. I think you can enjoy the ride. It's up to you how you want to take parenting as a stress model or enjoying fun model.
This stress
so-
is going to be there, right? So but it's enjoyable.
It's
Enjoyable stress that you want to
as long as you have an open mind and you're calm and you're like
Yeah.
open for adventure, be open for any surprises which come your way,
Yes.
because they will throw many things at you. So
Yeah.
be ready for it, and if you go with the flow, I'm sure you'll enjoy the journey beautifully. So
Absolutely.
well said, Jyoti, and thank you once again for coming on this platform and sharing your insights. I'm sure your journey is going to inspire many parents. And I would like to request all the parents here to subscribe to my channel and watch many of these interesting and inspiring videos so that you can also improve your journey. Thank you and bye-bye.